When I came to, the first thing I heard was the howl of the storm. Wind pressed against my face as I carefully opened my eyes. Then I saw the damage that had been done. We were upside down. Natalie was dangling with her seatbelt on, glass was scattered all across the roof, along with everything else we had carried with us. Jim was injured but breathing, blood gushing from his side as he pushed out a piece of shrapnel and chucked on his boss. "Paul, are you okay?" "Paul," Lasher said as he checked the old man's pulse and head. "He's unconscious," he said. I crawled slowly across the broken glass to where Natalie was at. The whole front window had burst open and more dust and debris was being pushed in towards us by the second. Out across the train yard, I saw the tornado continuing to wreak havoc, smashing up stray train cars and sending them flying in every direction. Besides that, there was the threat of creatures themselves. And while I lay there trying to get my breath back, I counted at least a half dozen. They're skittering along the tops of long metallic trailers, shrieking in the air and searching for us. "You okay?" I asked Natalie as she opened her eyes slowly. "I think I'll make it," she muttered as I helped her unbuckle and slowly crawled down to the roof of the camper. "We need to get somewhere safe," I told Jim as I scanned the train yard again. "How about that?" I was pointing towards a large metallic building that looked like it was used as a switch station for some sort of tracks. "It's better than nothing," he agreed, as he pushed the heavy equipment out of the way and gently pulled Paul up to a sitting position. "Jesus, he's heavy. I don't think I can lift him alone," Jim said. "You're also injured," I pointed out as I turned my head towards Natalie and said, "Think you can help?" She nodded and got her breath back, helping pull Kearney toward one of the side doors on the camper and kicking it open. Wind pushed her hair in her face, and Natalie looked towards the twister. "Do you think it'll come back for us?" she asked nervously as Jim held the door open. "If we make a run for it, we might make it," Lasher remarked, crawling out of the door and against the side of the vehicle. Natalie and I were next. We each took hold of one of Paul's arms and dragged him out towards the pavement. The gash in his head looked deep, and I worried that the stress we were putting on our bodies might do even more damage. We had little choice left. Natalie laid him down on the ground to catch her breath as Jim clutched his side. Then from above us we heard a low growl. One of the creatures was moving about near the tires that still spun wildly in the air. "Don't move," I whispered as we hunkered against the side of the trailer. If these things were blind, there might be a chance that it wouldn't know we were here, I reasoned as we listened to it claw at the metal underbelly of the camper. Another creature scurried just out of view between two train cars. It made a low howling noise. It sounded like it was a call of some kind. Then the one above us flew off towards the tornado as we watched. Even from this distance, it was hard to look directly at the storm, the blinding light it would cast, causing me to keep my eyes down. "Let's go," Natalie said, as she hunched down and placed Paul's arm over her shoulder. I did the same on the opposite side of him, and we lifted up together, his dead weight making it nearly impossible for us to even move at all. Together we moved as one across the train yard. Jim kept his back towards us and held the minuscule flare gun tight in his body, but so far the creatures didn't seem to be paying us any mind. That changed a moment later. Something like a blaring horn sounded out across the sky. The funnel started to push back up and the creatures made their way into it as it disappeared from sight. And then the rain began to fall. The second it hit my neck with its burning power, I let out a cry and nearly let go of Paul. "Shit!" Jim shouted as he tried to cover his head and started picking up speed. Then from the downpour came something large. I was having a hard time making sure I didn't tip over on my own feet, as Natalie and I followed Lasher towards the master switchboard, but from what I could tell, it was at least 3 times as large as the creatures we had dealt with before. The burning rain was almost enough to make me want to give up, but we finally made it inside the metallic structure, and I laid Paul down, checking him for wounds as well. "Shit. How the hell are we going to get out of this?" "The storm can't last forever, right? I mean, it'll move on," Natalie reasoned. Lasher didn't seem too sure, but he was so exhausted that he didn't argue with her. From the entrance, we saw the rain get harder and more intense. The train cars we had just ran past were now barely visible in the downpour. But something else was. It stood above the train cars like a beast out of ancient mythology, slowly prowling the train yard with low guttural sounds. You could barely make out the outline of the beast, but it was enough to send a shiver down my spine. Then it turned its enormous head towards us, 6 rows of eyes glowing in the rainstorm, and let out a deafening screech. "Keep moving," Jim told us, gesturing towards one of the old rail cars. I didn't have to be told twice. Natalie was out of breath and hurting, but she pulled it together to get Mr. Kearney inside the rail car. The creature was moving towards the wide mouth of the structure. I saw long tendrils gaping from its mouth, just as Jim slammed the door shut. "Is that going to keep it out?" Natalie whimpered as we listened to it move about the station. I listened as it pushed aside train cars with its long legs like nothing. In the tiny slots that were cut in the train car, I could see its scaly back looming by. Was it hunting for us? The rail car jostled for a moment, then shook, and the 3 of us fell to the floor and hunkered down. It could be on us at any second. And then after what seemed like an eternity, the creature let out another noise and pushed its way out of the back. We waited another 3 minutes and then finally relaxed. I moved to check Jim's wounds, frowning as I realized it was more severe than I realized. "You lost a lot of blood," I muttered as I gave my coat to press against his side. "I'll be fine," he said, as he slipped his hand into his pocket and pulled out the flash drive. "What matters is we keep this safe." The rain kept pelting against the roof as we stayed there, listening to the creature search the yard. And finally, Natalie muttered, "How are we going to get out of here?" Jim was in and out of consciousness from the blood loss, but still trying his best to give us answers. "You get my laptop, we could patch this back to home base and send a message. For help," he said, passing me the flash drive. "I can't go out in the storm," I objected, and added, "Let's wait and see if it passes, though." I looked down at his wound again and wondered if the way he was bleeding, if he would even have that long. He needed medical attention. As he slipped into unconsciousness again, I pushed the railcar door open and climbed out into the station floor. "Where are you going?" Natalie asked nervously. "To find a first aid kit. Keep this door closed until I get back." It was eerily quiet as I moved towards the side of the switch station. Nothing besides the sound of the rain and the occasional burst of thunder. What were the creatures doing? I wondered as I pushed to open the door to an old control room. A few moments later, I found what I was looking for and smashed the glass to reach the kit. There was some gauze, some needles, and thread, and a few other tools to help me sew up Jim. Then I froze. Somewhere behind me, I heard the sound of footsteps in the stairwell. I kept the kit close to my body and barely craned my head out to take a look. One of the blind creatures was crawling up the railing, and just as it opened its mouth to smell again, I realized it had detected my presence. I ran faster than I think I ever have. I pushed right past the creature on those split seconds before I had a chance to react, and then leapt down to the station floor. It turned about, made a loud scream, and then jumped towards me. "Natalie!" I was at least 19 yards from the rail car. The monster was moving faster than an Olympic athlete. I knew it would be on me in a matter of seconds. The door slid open and Jim was standing there, holding the final flare. "Get down, boy!" he shouted. I dodged out of the way as the creature came barreling. Jim took a step out to fire, but suddenly pain in his side made him cripple over. In a second, the creature was on top of him, and the gun fell to the floor with a soft skitter. Rearing its head back, the monster dug its pincers into Jim's chest, slashing open his skin like paper. Lasher screamed and tried to reach for the gun. I was closer. I got up, I grabbed the weapon, and I pointed it towards the beast. It fired and hit it in the lower torso, and for a brief moment, it kept ripping into Jim before the flare finally went off, and it fell backwards with the explosion. Shit! I ran to Lasher's side and looked at his new wounds. They were deep. Far too great for me to treat with a mere needle and thread. Natalie panned her head out to look and covered her mouth in shock. Then she crumpled down and began to cry. "We're never going to make it out of here," she said nervously. Jim was gasping for breath. Some of the cuts had hit his lungs, and he knew that it wouldn't be long. He grasped my arm and made me look at him in the eye. "Dylan, when it happens, make it quick." I stayed by his side as he kept bleeding out, struggling for air. And then he was gone. And the station went quiet once more. Nothing else filled the air except another rumble of thunder. Hey guys, I just want to make sure that all of you take a look in the description down below for multiple different reasons. The main reason I'm talking about right now, though, is to look at the author's links. Every time that I do a story on one of these platforms, I post links from the authors. Some of them are books that the authors put out. If you like the stories that you hear, then I highly, highly encourage you to go scroll down, take a look in the description, click one of those links. If you like that author, I guarantee you they have something else that you're going to like. And if they have a book out there, you're going to love that book. I mean, hell, that's how Tales from the Gas Station became what it is, okay? If you guys heard it on YouTube, then hey, there are more, bigger, better versions of it out there that you can get on Amazon or Audible or No Sleep or what have you. So for reals, scroll down, check out the links. And that's not like an advertisement thing. I'm just like, look, this is for your benefit. Check it out. And as always, I want to give a very big thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon. Thank you so much. A very big thank you to Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Stephanie Butler, Reaper 61167, Bobby Carmen, Tristan Pelton, Chance Burnett, Diana Kraus, Vicky McQuickie, Sam High, Crusader Chocobo, Spooky Shell, Adam Maros, Grand Moth the Milky, Big Smoke 369, Captain Scurvy, Salty Irish Poet, Esteban, Braden Morris, Nate Cull, Horror Fan 1212, Hour Minute Second Time, Kyle Resnack, David Martin, Scarrington the Unkempt, Robert Malcolm, Angela, Spanky, Snoochie Boochie, Seclude, Lupita Galvin, That Creepy Chick, Tyler Fletcher, Merxenum, Red Shadow Cat, Xavier the Cheyenne, Demix, Sean Catabaker, Six Gay Rats in a Trenchcoat, Turtleman, Rob Like Sharp Things, Cryolinian, Xavier Graphius, Lord Life's Best, Goring Tremagacy, Maria Walker, Emily Mitchell, Crazy Kid, Mr. Marcus Blitz, Eka Limchok, Dirt Diver 030, Matt Bach, Voice of Sand, Coffee Zombie, Hidden Tiger, Shelly J, Jeremy H, Psychomel, Nana, Deleted Account, Melted Lake, Tali Sue, William King, Darth Miver, Michael Ortiz, Satanic Aries, Bardo Hawk 764, Lambda M98, Harley, Sashi Suzaku, Cronut 509, Kaylee Ambrose, Suji Campbell, Stricken, Freddy Krueger, Happy Birthday Jason Wilson, Lisa Cottrell, Caspian, Hades Nephew, Tater Chip, Acid System, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Benjamin Welvert, Cryptic Nightmares, Kiri the Sloth, Fester's Lampshade, Sky Harbor, Nico Kyle, Rafael Rodriguez, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, Daniel Polson, and Corey Kenshin. As always, thank you guys so much, because you guys help me do everything that I do here. You guys help pay authors for stories and commission stories and do everything that I can do to make this channel and make this podcast the best it could possibly be. So thank you all for supporting me here. And as always, everyone, sweet dreams.